too many people just chase the biggest slice of the pie. They forget that the bigger slice of the pie, there's just a lot more weight that comes with it. We'd rather just have a smaller slice with less chaos. People just keep getting ready to get ready and they never aim. One of the biggest mistakes I made in my second company that I scaled was that I hired way too many ops people, way too many tech people. On the second company, I focused so much on operation and didn't put the money into the sales and the marketing. And you have to focus on sales first. You don't want to hire in a panic because we never wanted to fire anyone during slow season. Right. Did you make money today?
Right.
Were you spending your time and energy on building cash flow? If you overhire in logistics and you underinvest in sales, you have nothing to sell. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I gave it a -5. Getting no value. We need each other.
We do.
She's a business mogul, #1 author, and wellness expert.
How can I help?
And now Chantel Ray Finch and her amazing guests are here to guide you on your journey to health, wealth, and godly wisdom.
Time to level up.
Welcome to the Health, Wealth, and Godly Wisdom podcast.
Welcome back to the show. And as you know, our last episode, we mentioned really exciting news, and it is official, but our podcast, Waste Away the Chantel Ray Way, where we talked everything about intermittent fasting and health. All these topics are super important to me, but as you know, they're not going anywhere, but we're going to talk a little bit more about health, wealth, and godly wisdom. And so over time, I've realized that you need health, you need wealth, and you need godly wisdom, that health alone is not going to take you where you need to go. So today we're talking about wealth, and I have an exciting guest with me today, my husband, Rhyan Finch. And so we are talking about how to scale your business. And this is going to be an exciting show today. So welcome with me, my exciting host, Rhyan Finch, my husband.
Hey guys, welcome to our burnout proof blueprint. We have been married for 16 years and we have been doing business nationally in multiple businesses at multi-million dollars, and we are looking to help you grow your business as well.
We've been married for 16 years.
Amazing years.
They haven't always been amazing. They've been amazing for the last couple of years.
They were for me.
We both built and scaled multiple national companies. We've developed great teams. And so we want to kind of show you all the different things that we've done well, some of the things we've done wrong, and how we've vertically integrated and expanded into different industries. We've done lots of different industries. Mm-hmm. And we want to make sure that we help other people to be profitable, purposeful, and most importantly, sustainable.
There you go. You know, one of the first things you're going to have to look at, and this is really foreign to a lot of people, but you have to figure out when you're growing and scaling your business, are you going to license it? Are you going to franchise it? Or are you going to run a corporate model, right? So all of those are things that you're going to have to figure out what is the best thing for you. Now, we're going to sit down with you personally and help you walk through each of those things. This is not difficult, but at the same time, it's not natural. So once you've done it once, which we have, and we've done it multiple times, we can break that down for you and help you figure out what the best model is for you.
Yeah, and he likes the franchise model. I like more of the corporate model. We both are big into scaling and nationally into all 50 states. And it really doesn't matter what kind of business you're in. We are really passionate about you guys growing and scaling. So
absolutely. One of the examples of this, I was running a Fannie Mae account. This is a big REO account. And when I was doing that, we were going out there and we're taking 50% of the commission. We ran it nationwide. This is one of the nationwide companies we had run. And when we were doing this, one of the mentors to me said, hey, why don't you do this? Dial it back a percentage. We took it to a 5%. And instead of us handling accounting and all the logistics and all the hard parts, we actually allowed them to do that. And we took a lesser piece. But what that did is it freed us up. And freedom is really the key that we're looking for. and that's what we want to share with you.
And too many people just chase the biggest slice of the pie, but they forget that the bigger slice of the pie, there's just a lot more weight that comes with it, right? Like it's kind of like eating a bigger slice of pie, you're going to have more weight that comes with it. And so I know for me, and I think for you, we'd rather just have a smaller slice with less chaos. And instead of owning the whole thing and being buried in chaos, really focus on the smaller piece, less moving parts, and able to hit the easy button. I needed an easy button right
That
here.
is your favorite. And a lot of that comes down to mistakes, right? And we've gone through this. We've messed up quite a few times to figure out what we need to do better and what we could do better. And what I found is most people are willing to pay money to get past the losses. If I could just pay a certain amount of money and skip all the money I lost by learning from the mistakes from somebody else, I would definitely do that.
Yeah. And I always say, like, if you want to go from here to there, the most important thing that you can do is to learn from someone who's already been there. And one of the biggest things I see is that people just keep getting ready to get ready. They're like, oh, it's like ready, and they never aim. And so I know I want to start with some of the biggest mistakes. I'll start with mine because I know you don't love to share your mistakes. He likes to be like, what mistakes? Right? But one of the biggest mistakes I made in my second company that I scaled was that I hired way too many ops people, way too many tech people. I read an article from Amazon at the time, and I remember it saying Amazon at the time was making zero profit, and they were just taking all their money and putting it right back into operations and web. And at one point we had 6 full-time web developers on staff. And the first company that I grew and scaled, I focused on sales and marketing. Yeah. And we did great. But then guess what? On the second company, I focused so much on operation and didn't put the money into the sales and the marketing like I needed to. And you have to focus on sales first.
What I love about what we're getting ready to offer is that when you're Amazon, you had to go borrow and borrow and borrow. And when she's running a company or I'm running a company, we don't usually have access to institutional funding. But what we did do is we were able to grow and scale those businesses with a blueprint that we can share with you. And it works without having to borrow it to the tilt. You can lead with profit.
Yeah, I am all about leading with profit, but I want to talk about another mistake I made, and that is hiring too many people in the busy season. So every business has peaks and valleys. This is a busy time. This is a slow time. Yeah. Basically with real estate, March, April, May, June is a really busy time. And I remember our staff would be like, we're so busy, we need help. And, I'd be like, hire people. I wrote the book, Delegate Everything But Sex. So I'm all about, hire another person so we have to delegate to. But one of the things that I would say is instead of hiring during those busy seasons, what you really want to do is you want to eliminate, automate, or delegate it and outsource it to someone else, because growth doesn't necessarily mean more people. It means focusing on what's essential. And so writing down, having all your staff go, okay, we're in a busy season right now. Let's write down the most important things that we can't get rid of. There's other things that are fluff that we can just say, for right now, while we're in busy season, we don't need to do these bottom things. And you don't want to hire in a panic, because we never wanted to fire anyone during slow season.
Right.
So we just kept them on, and that was not good for profit during those slower seasons. So if you can really start eliminating some of the things your staff are doing that are non-essential before you hire more people.
I know we go into this more at another time, but really essentially there's things that can be done away with. They don't have to be done, and you can erase those things, which will free up people to do more and more of the profitable stuff versus hiring for the stuff that isn't needed.
Yeah, and we would tell our staff, like, okay, write down when they were really busy.
That's key. That is a key. Write down what they're doing every day so you can figure out what's a waste of time, because sometimes you don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah, because they're like, I'm overwhelmed. And then when you have them just say, okay, for the next week, I want you to document everything you're doing. And we actually still have people do that. We have end of day reports, those every single day, so we can see what they are doing or not doing, those end of day reports. And we have samples of those, so that you can copy those and implement those into your business.
There's so much value. But one of the big things is you have to go back and ask yourself, what are you building, right? And so once you're doing this, you're trying to skinny this stuff up. You have to save your time, money, and energy. And with that, you have to be focused on what it is you're doing. And so what we're trying to do is help you build something. And a lot of times you're running a one location or a one shop, and we want to help you get to a place to scaling it, whether that's licensing, franchising, and whatnot. You're building by profit, so you want to just have massive amount of profit, or you're building it because you want to sell. And so building a multiplier, building it where you're filling all the lanes where you don't have to be in it. And so that takes direct focus and intentionality, and you have to be asking those questions on a regular basis to what you're doing.
And not only that, just building it lean, like building it profitable. And you have to ask yourself daily, like, are you building positive cash flow for that? Like, did you make money today?
Right.
Were you spending your time and energy on building cash flow and building money that day? And are you able to sell it? And I know for me and you, we've done that for each other. There's been times that you're like looking at my P&L and going, what is this? Like, why are you spending time on this? Why are you spending money on this? You need people to go through and go, what the heck?
Yeah, one, I mean, obviously that's the key to this, is that you've been that for me, and I feel like I've helped you with some of that as well. And ultimately, when you're looking at it on your own, you're not focused on, you believed you needed to spend time, money, or energy on those things. And so, really what it comes back to is sales, marketing, logistics, right? And so, I mean, you are obviously the marketing queen. We have built out sales teams. We know how to do that. We know how to script those things out. And logistically, we know how to put those teams together. And we can even share some of those resources.
Well, I think one of your biggest strengths, honestly, is the
picking a
ratio.
Wife. Is picking a wife. Thank you.
Is actually giving the ratio, the right ratio between how much you need to spend in sales, marketing, and logistics. Because a lot of people are like, well, yeah, I'm doing all three. But like I said before, back to my first mistake, they're spending too much time on operations and they're not spending the money on the marketing. And right now, when businesses are starting to feel like they're, cutting back, a lot of times the first place they cut back is in the marketing and sales, which is not the right place. So it's finding that perfect ratio, and every business is different. You have an eye for going in and going, nope, I can see exactly what's going on here. You're spending way too much on logistics. Here's the exact percentage. And you actually will go through and go, nope, here's the percentage you need to spend for this. Here's the percentage. And the job as the CEO is to know exactly what is the perfect ratio for your particular business. And you're a master at that.
It's a science for scaling, right? I mean, and once you can take in and we pair up with something that you do really, really well, which is getting the cost of a lead down and being able to penetrate a market and branding and those things, make all of the sales and these other mathematical things a lot easier. It leaves you more room to be able to build.
Well, one of the things that I always say is that if you, my favorite line is that if you overhire in logistics and you underinvest in sales, you're going to have this smooth operation, right? Yep. Everything's going to be perfect. The system's going to be great, but you have nothing to sell. You're not selling anything. Right. So what good is it if you've got these systems and processes that are so good and no one to buy it?
Yeah. Well, now how are you building out things with stuff like that? So what's your trick? How do you go in from the other side of this?
Well, marketing is my favorite part of things. That's where I love to spend my time. And building a sticky brand is really, really important.
You're a genius at that. I've seen it.
Well,
over and over.
I first started in real estate. And when I first started, I actually interviewed about 60 to 100 people. And I literally asked them, what do you hate about real estate agents? And so they would say, you know what? I hate when an agent locks me in for 6 months to a year and does nothing. And so I was like, all right, well, that's fine. Let's build a guarantee around that. We'll do a fire me guarantee. And then people would say, well, I don't like when agents kind of just stick me in a house. They don't really care if I love it or not. So we said, all right, we'll just do a love it or leave it promise where if you don't love the house within the first 90 days, we'll sell it for free. And so it's just kind of finding out in your profession, what do people hate? One of the ones that I loved, I remember it's where I built my guarantees. I remember a flooring company, and they said, if you don't love the floor that we put down, we will come in, rip it up, and give you a brand new floor.
Really?
Well, that gives you peace, right? Because it's like, sometimes when you look at a flooring, it looks great when it's this big, but once you put it down, you're like, oh my gosh, this is a disaster. And they say, guess what? If that happens to you, once we install it, we'll rip it up and put it for free. And then people are like, I'm not going to do that kind of guarantee. But the truth is, barely anyone ever, after it's already in, they're not going to be like, all right, let's just rip it up. It's like 0.001%, but you're now giving a guarantee that gives people that peace.
Have you ever asked, God, are you speaking? God, are you speaking?
What on earth am I here for?
In a world full of noise, opinions, and distractions, He's been trying to reach you. In Tune In, God's Voice, Your Purpose, it answers these questions. Hear God, find freedom, discover your purpose, make a difference. You'll finally learn how to know the difference between God's whisper and your own inner noise, how to reinvent yourself with every new season, and how to answer the question every person asks at some point. What on earth am I here for? What on earth am I here for? If you're ready for clarity, direction, and breakthrough, this book is your guide. Quiet the chaos. Hear Him clearly. Step boldly into your calling. Tune in. God's voice, your purpose.
You have a talent and an ease for this. And I know if they bring you the business like I have and show you this, you're going to be able to dissect it, and then they have it forever. They don't have to redo this over and over and over again. Once you take a look at it, you give them the information, they have the play, and they can go run whatever their guarantee is or whatever it is that's the problem that you can solve for their business.
Yeah. So another guarantee that we do is we'll sell your home in 90 days, or we'll buy it for cash, or the commission is free. And we do have stipulations on that, right? Like if it's a $2 million house, we can't do that guarantee. So you can make some guarantees like that. That is our guarantee. We will sell your home in 90 days, or we'll buy it for cash if it's something that we want, or we just don't pay a commission. The seller doesn't pay a commission. But here's the thing. There is some stipulations behind it. For example, if it's a luxury home, it's $3 million, that guarantee doesn't go into place. So you can also have a guarantee that has a few, and you go over with the people up front, so it's not like a bait and switch or anything, but it gets the phone ringing, and then you explain to people, here's what it includes. And the other thing that's really important is figuring out how you're different. And it's hard for people to figure that out, and you need someone to kind of come alongside you to figure it out. So like for us, part of those differences that we talked about are those guarantees. Like giving to charity is really important to me. So I just put it as part of how we're different. We give back 10% of the company dollar that we get to the charity of our choice. So you figure out what are some things that can pull on heartstrings to get people to go, you know what? I like that about that person. I want to support someone.
They're getting to give
too,
even though they're using your services. And I think people really enjoy stuff like that.
Yeah, and you come up with your own differences, and we help ask the right questions to figure out how are you different? Because a lot of people are like, I don't really know. I'll give an example of one person that we really helped. And it was a guy that had the Wall Right. He was called Wall Right Solutions.
Nicest guy.
And I remember he was trying to explain his business, and he was trying to explain it. And I was like, I just said, okay, let's stop right here. I know exactly what we need to do. It was in the first minute. He does this thing where he helps make garages pretty, and he organizes them. And I said, here's what you need to do. Step one, we need to get a picture of an organized garage immediately on all of your stuff. When you go to your website, the first picture should be nothing but pictures of organized garages. Your business card, don't even have your logo as the main thing. The main thing should be showing these garages that are completely transformed.
Before and after
or just the after, really.
Yeah, that sticks out.
It makes such a difference.
That all that stuff it's amazing. And I feel like you can do that over and over and over with multiple different businesses. And it's such a value. And at the same time, even one of these things may not apply to somebody because they've got something different for their business. And so, I love your creativity and your ability to do that. Going back to this thing that, with the levers, there's 3 things that really are levering every single business. It's your time allocation, your money allocation, and your energy allocation. And it's really hard sometimes to go in and dial that in because you've spent money on something and you believe you should. Every day you're spending money on coffee. Well, somebody comes in and looks at your accounting and says, hey, you're spending money on coffee. That money could be reallocated to something else. Hey, you're spending a lot of energy helping somebody that's not getting you a result. Not having a KPI for that can really be a difference in how you can reallocate that energy. But it takes somebody coming in and then telling you, hey, you're doing this and you could try this, because it seems scary, because we've always done it that way and we felt comfortable with that. And when we felt comfortable with that, we did it because it worked and that was our belief system. A coaching or somebody that's been where you're trying to go that can come in and reframe how you're analyzing something and how you can do it differently. And more so maybe giving you the confidence to make that adjustment can really be the springboard to leading to something else.
Yeah. And I think the energy allocation is one question that you always challenge me on, because you're always like,
I love your energy.
But you always ask me like, okay, is this really the energy that is it worth the squeeze? Basically,
right.
Is the juice worth the squeeze? Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people know about the time allocation and they know about the money allocation, but they forget about the energy allocation. I remember I was working with a CEO that was doing podcasts, and after coaching him for a little bit, we realized that he should really only be doing 2 podcasts per day, because his energy was really, really good for those first 2. And he was trying to squeeze in like 4 and 5 podcasts. By the time his 4th podcast came in, it was just, his energy wasn't there. Nothing was going right on those later podcasts. And so he just made the decision, you're right, I'm only going to do 2 podcasts per day. That's all my energy can give to make it the best that I can be.
That's right.
Well, let's talk about time.
Oh, man. So, paying attention to where your time is spent, in this, when you're going in and you're spending time like helping people that are not necessarily getting you the result, when it's not driving revenue, a lot of times is when you're not driving revenue, you're spending so much time, but no new money is coming in. And when you reallocate that time toward driving in sales and revenue, this is a huge, indicator of what your business can do. A lot of people think revenue is for vanity, right? And so when you're looking at this, revenue is not necessarily for vanity if your time is allocated toward generating new revenue. So there is a correlation and a value to that. And I think people don't pay close enough attention to that.
Yeah. And I wrote the book, Delegate Everything But Sex. So I love, love, love to delegate. And I think that's one of the things that I can really challenge people on a daily basis of why are you doing that? Mm-hmm. And I always give the analogy of my hair, because a lot of people don't realize my hair, this is my natural hair and it's very, very thick, but it takes a solid 45 to 50 minutes to blow dry my hair. Mm-hmm. And so I have someone that will blow dry my hair while I'm on the computer and while I'm working. And it's a silly example, but it just goes to show you that 45 to 50 minutes, I don't have to waste blow drying my hair because I have someone that does it for me. And so I think there's a lot of things that people don't realize that they really can delegate. And a CEO's time has to be spent where the ROI is the highest. And so if we can go through your day.
I was just thinking of something. I've seen you getting your hair done with a laptop, sending emails on the speakerphone, talking to somebody else about doing something else. You're usually doing 3 things. You're emailing somebody to take care of this while telling somebody else to do this while somebody else is doing your hair. It's a funny picture, and I just had it in my mind.
Yeah, but it's also about, should I delegate it? Should I automate it? Should I eliminate it? So us having somebody that can go alongside you and really asking you those hard questions of where your time is being spent, you don't get that in a big conference. And me and you just went to this conference, and
you're disgusted even saying it. I can just see it in your face.
About it, honestly, I was so pumped about it too. And it was probably, I don't know, maybe 1,000 to 1,500 people. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I gave it a -5. And that's actually, I'm really glad that happened, because that's when I decided we need to start working more in small groups with people, because CEOs really need a community of people that can come alongside them and help them. But I thought, these people, are just going in, getting a rah, shish kaboom bah, and getting no value. I mean, when I say no value, I rated it a -5 when I was done. And so that just kind of got me more passionate about helping CEOs because we need it. We need each other.
We do. Tell us about auditing the money.
Well, you love the money game, so I'll let you start about the money.
All right. So I'm really funny about this. A lot of people try and cut their way to a profit, and I'm all for cutting and trimming things back, but you've got to make sure you're allocating money to the highest rate of return. And if you're not running it to the rate of return, you start dialing it back. Next thing you know, you're letting go of an employee, you're letting go of marketing or sales, and all of that stuff starts going back and back and back. And so you've got to audit it, and at the same time, you can't be wasteful, right? And so if you're wasteful and you're spending it where it's not driving in those revenues, again, I keep going back to the revenues because driving in that revenue is really, really key because I'm fanatical. I mean, I track it. If you don't care about it, you won't track it. But you've seen all of the sheets I have, and people think I'm crazy because I track all these different numbers because I want to make sure my time, money, and energy is driving in a new revenue. I want to make sure that revenue is going up. Or I might as well not be doing it. I might as well not be spending that money. And I'm just really fanatical about it.
Well, your COO made the most amazing spreadsheets that I've ever seen in my entire life that are so clean and crisp. And he actually gives them to you where he just takes the numbers off, and I use them. I just cloned it. I was like, give me a copy of that. I've never seen anything better. And then you just put your numbers in and the way you have it formatted.
Simple. You got to keep it simple.
So simple and clean. I've never seen anything. And it really helped me. That was one of the things that really helped me, just copying that spreadsheet, putting my information in those boxes. It's all color coded in different areas. It's so clean and crisp. But if I am also on I like to cut. But I've also found things because we wanted to find the things that can scale. We've already went through and tried the 30 different systems, and we now can share with you, okay, at one point we had a call center with this phone system that was just like Geico's, right? The biggest, baddest phone system ever. And now we have a phone system that has all of our employees that is under $100 a month. Wow. And can be used for all of our virtual employees that are around the world, and it's completely scalable. So it's the cheapest thing that you can possibly do. So we just give you the systems that we have. And one of the other things that we built is an all-in-one portal that I'll talk about a little bit later, that it looks like the iPhone, where it literally, when your employees come in, it has every system right there, centralized. So you have one login. You don't have to worry about the passwords. Everything's already in there. That's probably one of my favorite things that I've ever built.
Auditing your energy is, something I already kind of went into, but you want to make sure that things aren't draining you. You're working with people that are driving your energy up. And, I always get pumped even talking with Chantel because we just have our pillow talk is really about business and things like that, where we energize each other. So you want to make sure you're doing that and make sure that your energy is going up. The things that stink, you probably read books about that. The things you don't like, you don't want to do those. You want to try and delegate those. If you can delegate those things, it's going to keep your energy up. And, all of this stuff really comes together. And that's part of this, is that all of this really is not any one size fits all. It's all of it together really makes a blueprint for winning.